Hello, welcome back to Viscount Leisure, and in this video we're going to talk about our Alde wet central heating system. A, how we turn everything on, B, how we use the controls, and how we get all the water and everything into the van. Once you've connected your aqua outside, first thing you want to be coming and doing is coming and finding your boiler drain valve. On this particular van it's located just here. They are generally located right by the boiler. This one is this yellow switch here, and generally that's what you will find. So what you do is, this is the open position which allows water to drain out. Flick it down like that. That is our closed position. Once we start pumping water into the van, it will then start to fill up the boiler. Once we've done that, we're going to go and find all of our taps, and we're going to close our taps, because what you should have done last time you left your van in an ideal world was close all of your taps. Open all of your taps to allow air through them and stop any freezing issues. So that's all shut. Then you're going to come and find your main panel. All right, on this particular, we're in an Alde at the minute, so this is the main panel I've got here. I'm going to turn the main panel on. That will give me all of my lights and everything, and my 12-volt system is now alive. The next one along here we can see is my water pump. So I'm going to turn on my water pump. All right. Now what I want to do is start to fill up my boiler. All right. So what I'm going to do is come to my tap. I'm going to turn my tap over to the hot side, and I'm going to turn the tap on. All right, what that will then start to do is to pump the water from our aqua roll outside into our boiler and start filling it up. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, that is full of air in there. Okay, so it will take a little bit of time. As you can see, we'll get some coughing and spluttering like this. And so it can take some time because we've got to push all of that air out of the boiler. So we'll leave that to do that, and then we'll also do the same on the cold leg, but we wait for a nice steady flow of water. All right, and then we can start looking at some other bits. But so don't be too alarmed if it takes a little bit of time. We can live with that. The boiler will work on both gas and 240-volt power. I'm plugged into 240 at the moment, but as I say, if I was wild camping, it will also work on gas as well. The gas isolation valve for it is just here. So if you do need to isolate the gas going to that particular piece of equipment, that is where you would do it. You can also run it with 240-volt electric and gas at the same time, so we can do it either or. While that's doing that, what we're going to then come and do is find our panel. This one is situated up here. Okay, sometimes I have a black surround, sometimes a silver, but this one is silver. We're then going to turn on the panel, and it will go through its boot up procedure. Okay, what this tells me, this is my standby screen, tells me it's 21 degrees in here, and tells me that I'm plugged into main, so that is my standby screen. And just as we say that, the water is now flowing through nicely, so we can turn the tap off, and then I'm going to come in and do the same on my cold side. This will be much quicker because we're not filling the boiler up. Okay, you would do that in here, also do it in your washroom as well, get all the air out of the system. Even if you're not planning on using the shower, still do it anyway, get all the air out and everything will work much better for it. So, to wake this panel up, to start getting everything working, we're going to press the menu button. Okay, so press the menu button. We've got a few options at the top here. So the first top one is our internal temperature in the van. This is just a touch screen, so we can go all the way up to 30 or all the way down to 0 if obviously it was warm and we didn't want the heating on. All right, so all you have to do is set the temperature. The van will do the rest. All right, there's a thermostat in here and it will just keep it at that temperature. All right. Next one down is a picture of a shower. This is our hot water. So this is really simple. Black triangle in the middle. When there's nothing filled in the triangle, that tells me my water is off. When I go to the middle, that turns my water on, and it will heat it up to about 60 degrees, I think it is. And then what I can also do is put it all the way up, okay, and that is a boost setting, all right? So what that will do is switch off the heating completely, and it will just prioritise hot water for a certain period of time. So if you're having a couple of back-to-back showers, or you wanted to heat that water up really quickly, put it onto boost, and that will concentrate all of its energy and all of its power onto just heating up your water, all right? Next one down, as we've talked about, we can use it on gas and electric, so we need to select what we're going to use. This one here with the lightning bolt is our 240-volt side of stuff, so I can have it off 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatts, depending on what power I have on site and what I've got access to. So obviously the higher the kilowattage, the more effective the boiler will work. But if you are on 3 kilowatts on your boiler, you've got your fridge on, you put on your hair dryer, and you keep tripping out your main trips in the van, you're trying to draw too much current. So you might want to come in and turn that down 2 or 1 to balance out the power in the van. Of course, also I can switch it onto gas, so I can turn it off there, turn it onto gas just here by pressing that button. All right, that will then light the boiler on the gas side of stuff if I was off grid. I can run it in conjunction with each other as well, so I can use gas and electric together. If it was really cold outside, I wanted to heat everything up really quickly, I could do so and then switch the gas off afterwards. There are some more settings you can go into, all right, and we'll just quickly run through those. So we press the setting button, okay, we can set night time, all right, so we can set what temperature we want it on at night, what time we want the night mode to start and stop, okay, but what we do need to do is make sure that we activate that by pressing the on button to allow that to work. And as you can see, we can also activate it so that my panel dims and also that my hot water turns off as well. So you can select what you want overnight. We can do the same with the day, all right, exactly the same. Set what time day is, so you want to start, I don't know, the heating and to come on, or the hot water or everything to come on at 8 o'clock in the morning. We can do that there, and to turn down off onto night mode at you know, whatever clock as well. But we do have to remember to activate that as well. We can set priorities, so you can say I want to prioritize gas, or I want to prioritize electric. All right, so that's really simple there. This here is just all to do with the brightness of our screen, so we can change the brightness of our screen. Okay, this one here is just setting the clock, and that is pretty much everything. But the main bits here are what temperature do we want it in the van, hot water on off or on boost, are we using electric or are we using gas, and then again you can set all your timers and priorities in the other menu. All right. Once we have plumbed our system up and we've finished our holiday and we want to start draining everything down, the way we make this work is we would come in and turn our panel off first before we turn off any of the 12-volt system. Okay, so that's off. I can then turn off my water pump and turn off my mains, my 12-volt power in the van. We want to turn that one off first because that stops us getting errors on the panel. So turn off your Alde panel first, then turn off your 12-volt. We then come to drain our system down by opening our drain valve, so this one here. Okay, that opens it up. That then drains all the water out of the boiler. And then what we want to come and do is open our taps, and we're going to open them and leave them open in between hot and cold. The reason we're doing this is because, as I say, it allows air through the system. If we get any freezing weather, water expands when it freezes and we end up with broken pipes, broken taps. We see it all the time. So if you get in the habit of doing it, leaving the van with no water in it, you're going to negate that issue. All right. So that's the basics of how our Alde heating and water system works. Of course, we are on the end of the phone if you need us. Yeah, enjoy your new van.